On this Tableau assignment, on the right-hand side, you will find a pie chart of the percentages of total units sold per team. As you can see, each of the different companies is listed and associated with the color. The key can be found on the right side. There's, for example, my team had a 16% market share, meaning that 16% of the total sales were sold by Ferris. It is clear that Digby had a 20%, meaning they sold the most units out of all the companies. Over here, on the right side, you will find the size coordinates versus the performance coordinates. Each different shape represents a different point in time during our rounds. For example, the squares, such as this, represents round 1. The pluses represent round 3. The X's represent round 5. And the stars represent round 7. Overall, this chart has different sizes and shapes for each of them, and the size represents the amount of sales of that different products. The placement of the different charts on the graphs is a representation of the amount of units sold, meaning that up here, different sensors with the size of approximately 6.5 and a performance of 15, you can tell that green, which is also Digby's company, has the most amount of sales with the best placement for low end. So over here is the low end, over here is a traditional, here's the traditional, low end, performance and size, and then high performance. Lastly, comes to the last data table with the selected data view. Over here, each of the different products have been named and are also attached to their different colors. For this chart, which are differentiated by the primary segments, which is orange is high, red is low, green is size, yellow is traditional. So over here, you can tell which ones of the prices are associated with each of the different products for each of the different segments. So if you were to compare all the traditional products, you would look for all the different yellow lines and see how they compare to one another's for each of the different products. Above is a representation of the lines relative to each of the profits. So each product shows which ones were most profitable. So if you look down at the big lines, it is clear that the product Dell had a net profit of about $52,000 between round 1, 3, 5, and 7. For example, over here is the product Cake, most likely by which is one of Chester's products. Net profit of about $31,000 with the price at $83.74. Between all three of these different pie charts, we are able to assess which company has found success, which companies have had the highest amount of market shares. We have the scatter plot showing us where each of the different products and where they lied in between, relative to each other. And lastly, the table on the right is a clear example on the different net profits with the associated prices for each of the different products.